What's going on, guys? This is Jake here from Bull Bay. We're here at the headquarters. This is our part 2 segment of the first video we did release yesterday. We're going to be going over soft baits, hard baits, the type of rods we're going to use for these baits. If you guys have any questions about this, feel free to leave a comment in this video and we're going to get right to it. I'm going to start off with the soft baits I use for redfish, snook, and trout in the inshore game here in Tampa. You can use it for pretty much anywhere here in Florida. It's going to be a great segment for you to learn what type of baits to use in different types of fishery. You know, you're fishing wintertime, springtime, summertime, clean water, dirty water, etc. I'm going to go over all that stuff. We're going to get right to it. To me, my favorite bait of all time, fishing artificial, is going to be a soft bait, soft plastic in terms. I love it for versatile fishing. You can use them for a jerk bait. You can use them for just steady swimming. The colors on these baits are really good and really important to fish for. So first, starting off, I'm going to go with my favorite one in this pack by Slayer Inc. This is their SST. This is their smallest paddle tail they do have. This is the Gumbo, I believe. It's the SST. It's a 3.5 inch. It's really good for the wintertime. You always want to downsize your baits in the wintertime. Everything's a lot slower. The water's a lot cooler. These fish are a little more lethargic from the water temperature. You want to slow down your baits and you want to downsize. Also, in the wintertime, it's very clean water. You want to downsize your leader as well. I typically use like 15 pound in the wintertime. In the spring and the summertime, I use 20, 25, even 30, depending how dirty the water is. 15 should be good in the winter. You also have a lot of low tides, so in theory, you want to have something that matches the hatch in the wintertime. It's very clean. I like to use a Gumbo strictly just because it's a brownish tan color with black flakes. There's no sparkles to it. It's a very neutral base color. It looks really good in a lot of bottoms in the fishing that we do here. It matches sand, it matches grass, it matches everything to, you know, fit your needs in this environment you're fishing. Another good color is the baby bass. This is pretty much looks like a white bait, green back. It's a very popular color. You can use this for a lot of different types of fishing. You can use this for snook fishing, redfish, trout, the main 3 species. Flounder even hit this. I've caught flounder on this bait. I like to show you guys too another way of fishing in your fishing artificial is throwing a jerk bait. This is by MirrOlure. This is the golden brim color. It's a very popular color here in Tampa. Pretty similar on these baits. This doesn't have a paddle tail. I'm gonna pull this out for you guys here to show you real quick. So right here is the Little John, they call it. This is a golden brim color, like I said. It has some flakes to it. This is good in deeper water too. I prefer using a normal jig head on these. It gets a better presentation on the bait than using a Texas rig, and I'll show you guys this here shortly in this video. Another cool thing about these baits is they're pretty hardy. You can use these for a lot of fish. Like I've caught 4, 5, even 6 fish on this bait one time. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys how to rig this up later in the video, but now we're gonna move on to hard baits. So these are the hard baits I like to throw. We're gonna go over here real quick. There's 3 models here we have. I'm going to show you. One is the Live Skins. It's the MR17. It's the most popular size, I would say, in the MirrOlure side and the hard bait side. We also have the Top Dog Junior, which is the top water. It's probably the most famous color of all time. And then this one is the XL of the MR17. It's a little bit bigger. It's good for big snook and stuff, especially in the springtime. This is a very popular bait. The color's pretty popular. For me, I love the Live Skins. This is pretty new for them. I'm gonna go over you guys with that, what type of rod to throw with these. My personal rod that I use for pretty much all these baits you see on here on the table is gonna be the Bolt for me. And that doesn't have to be for you guys. I'm gonna show you why I do like the Bolt for this type of fishing. The Sniper and the Stealth Sniper is still a phenomenal rod to use for these baits. All of our rods do have a fast action tip. I like personally throwing the medium heavy for these hard baits. I feel like when you have a little bit stiffer action, you can pop these baits really well, especially on top water with our tips. The medium fast for me, the 6 to 12 is my go-to for the soft plastics because really and truly you're kind of switching it up when you're throwing soft plastics. You know, some days you can be just steady reeling it. Some days you can be using it as a jerk bait. Sometimes you do it both days just to see what's working for those fish, especially what type of fishing you're doing. So I prefer the medium fast for the soft baits and 100% medium heavy on the hard baits. I want to get in real quick on the setups you guys want to use for our rods and specifically for our baits. I have here a medium heavy and a medium fast setup. So for me, I like throwing a 3000 size reel on the Bolt or the Sniper or the Stealth in the medium heavy to 8 to 17 model. You know, typically a lot of guys that have a medium heavy, they want to have 15-pound line. So on a 3,000 size reel like this CE, it has a bigger spool than a 2500. They are the same size, but while you want to go with a 3K, you can get more line out of it. And 15-pound braid will be a little bit thicker than 10. So if you're throwing a medium fast, I'd recommend a 2500. Slap some 10-pound braided line on there, and you should be fine. Leader doesn't really matter. Again, that's depending what kind of fishing you're doing. If you're fishing cleaner water, if you're snook fishing, if you're red fishing, it goes to different applications in your leader size. These rods can handle up to 30 pound. I mean, I wouldn't go any more than that if you're doing inshore, especially if you're fishing the flats. And pretty much that's gonna set up these rods here for you when you're fishing artificial. And real quick, I do want to show you guys how to set up these soft baits before we end this video. So on this last segment, I want to show you guys real quick how to put on a soft bait on a weedless jig head. I love using weedless jig heads here in Tampa, especially. There's a lot of grass. You know, also too, every time you're throwing your artificial into the water, half the time if you're throwing a normal jig head, you're gonna get grass. And every third or fourth cast, you gotta pull grass off. So to me, a weedless jig head is a must here. Slayer Inc. has a jig head called the Predator jig head. It's literally a jig head like normal with this wire. This wire you put on the hook so it becomes weedless, and it's pretty much like a weed guard, and it slides right through the grass. So real quick, I want to show you guys how to put it on a normal swim bait. And this one's pretty easy. You got to pull the wire back. I pull it back because it does get in the way sometimes. So it's cool about these the Slayer Inc. paddle tails. They have their name on the back side of it. So what I do is I will measure it right where the hook goes, like this. And on this bait, it's right at the R in Slayer Inc. So I know that hook's going to be coming out of that R. So now you know when you have it, it should line up pretty good, and it'll be just as nice as you can be. So real quick, I'm going to show you guys. Right here, you slide it through. And the hook is coming out of the R. So once I do that, I'm going to slide the bait up, make sure it's straight, pull it through, make sure the teeth grab it. And that's pretty much all you guys got to do. Once you're done with that, you put the wire back over the hook to make it weedless, and it's literally that simple. Guys, that's gonna sum up this video today. I hope you guys got any good information from it. We'll love to hear your feedback. We love to do it for you guys. We're gonna end it here. If you guys haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our new channel. And before we go, I wanna show you the rod that I made for myself for sight fishing here in Tampa. It's the lightest rod we make. I put a lot of time into this, and I hope you guys can see how much I appreciate this rod.